Mark, I've been working on this speech for the end of the Civil War. Let me know what you think.
Why do you sound like Michael Jackson?
Who is this brave young man? Did he fight for the Union?
Abe, I know no one who's alive now heard your voice before, but for the love of God, the Union, and my sanity, stop this madness. The people need strength.
Okay. How about this?
Slavery is hasta la vista, baby.
No Arnold or Michael, just be yourself.
Maybe I should stick with...
If you say hee one more time, I swear to God, I'm defecting to Canada.
So beat it.
While Abraham Lincoln decides which voice to use, let's explore how the American Civil War shaped the USA. To understand modern America, especially the South's unique identity, we need to confront the Civil War's unresolved legacies. Why do debates over states' rights drag on like a never-ending Facebook argument? Why was Reconstruction more like duct tape on a broken window, allowing systemic racism to thrive?
Well, freedom and rights for all, except black people.
Also gays.
Yes, also gays. And don't forget black people, twice for good measure.
And if you think today's political divisions are bad, remember the Civil War isn't whispering, it's screaming. We're just pretending not to hear it. So, between 1803 and 1854, America expanded like a guy at an all-you-can-eat buffet. The Louisiana Purchase in 1803 doubled the country overnight. And in 1845, Texas invites itself like a friend who invites themselves over and never leaves.
Well, y'all didn't invite me, but I brought my own boots and cattle, so I can secede again anytime I want.
After the Mexican-American War in 1848, the U.S. grabbed California, Arizona, and New Mexico. By 1854, America had tripled in size. Manifest destiny was flexing, but so were its problems. Expansion revived an old argument, slavery. The North was like, can we not? While the South, hooked on cotton and free labor, wanted slavery everywhere. So in 1820, USA said,
Look, I drew a neat little line. Slavery here, freedom there. We'll call it the Missouri Compromise, eh?
Why not the Texas Compromise?
Can you just chill for like 5 minutes?
I'm just saying.
By 1850, abolitionists were shouting, "Free the West!" while Southerners demanded cotton fields everywhere. The Compromise of 1850 let California join as a free state. But in other territories like Utah and New Mexico, the people would decide for themselves. This was supposed to make both sides happy, but instead, it caused more problems because people fought over whether these places should allow slavery or not. For example, in Kansas, people who supported and opposed slavery moved there to try to influence the vote, leading to violence known as Bleeding Kansas. So instead of solving the issue, it made things worse and pushed the country closer to the Civil War. Like a low-budget Western where everyone shoots at everyone, and the Dred Scott decision of 1857, in which the Supreme Court ruled that black Americans could not be citizens and Congress could not restrict slavery in the territories. By 1860, Abraham Lincoln was elected, and the South panicked like someone insulted their mama. "States' rights!" they yelled. Oh, that's code for don't touch our enslaved labor. 7 states seceded before Lincoln even picked curtains for the White House.
I really wanted to take my time choosing between the lemonade stand yellow and the Lost in the Woods green.
The Civil War began in April 1861 when Confederate forces attacked Fort Sumter, and Lincoln called for troops. 4 more states flipped the table and left, turning a political mess into war.
I asked for volunteers, not for y'all to moonwalk on me. That's a good word, moonwalk.
The Union had clear advantages. 22 million people to the South 9 million, including 3.5 enslaved people who were definitely not cheering for the Confederacy. They also had industrial infrastructure, telegraph systems, and enough railroads to make Jeff Bezos jealous.
Jeff Bezos is jealous.
The South pinned its hopes on strong military leadership in generals like Robert E. Lee, high morale, and wishful thinking that Britain and France would bail them out.
The E in my name stands for elegance. Anyway, do you like my boots? I polished them for this.
Early battles like Bull Run shattered expectations of a quick conflict. Civilians picnicked near battlefields, expecting a swift Union victory, only to witness chaos and defeat.
I came with a big appetite, but now that we're losing, I don't feel like eating anymore.
Meanwhile, enslaved people weren't waiting for rescue. They fled plantations, sabotaged the Southern economy, and sought refuge behind Union lines, grinding down the Confederacy one act of defiance at a time. The war's focus shifted dramatically on January 1st, 1863, with Lincoln's Emancipation Proclamation. Though it technically freed only enslaved people in the Confederate-held areas, it transformed the conflict into a moral crusade against slavery and allowed black soldiers to enlist in the Union Army. Nearly 200,000 black men joined the fight, strengthening Union forces and discouraging Britain and France from aiding the Confederacy. July 1863 was pivotal. At Gettysburg, the Union smacked down Lee's invasion of the North in a bloody 3-day battle.
I climbed the hill. I see now I shouldn't have climbed the hill. It's not a good day for Robert Elegant Lee.
Meanwhile, Union forces captured Vicksburg, slicing the Confederacy in half and taking control of the Mississippi River. Lincoln's Gettysburg Address reframed the war as a test of whether a nation conceived in liberty could survive.
All men are created equal.
Let me introduce you to Jim Crow.
By 1864, the Union embraced total war, the military version of flipping the table and torching the room on the way out. General William Sherman's march to the sea through Georgia flattened cities, twisted railroads, and freed thousands of enslaved people.
March to the sea!
Sir, how can we walk on water?
Are you serious right now?
Yes, sir. I also don't know how to swim.
Why?
It's 1864, sir. I can barely read or write.
Oh.
Meanwhile, General Ulysses S. Grant chased Robert E. Lee through Virginia, grinding down the Confederate army inch by inch.
Another bad day for Robert Elegant Lee. Maybe you could cheer me up by subscribing to this elegant channel.
On April 9, 1865, Lee surrendered to Grant at Appomattox Courthouse. The South was finished, but any hope of unity was shattered days later when Abraham Lincoln was assassinated by John Wilkes Booth, delivering a plot twist that left Reconstruction in disarray. The Civil War claimed over 750,000 lives, making it the deadliest conflict in U.S. history. It devastated the South's economy and forced the nation to address the legal status of black Americans. The 13th Amendment abolished slavery in 1865. The 14th granted citizenship and equal protection under the law, and the 15th guaranteed black men the right to vote. Yet, white supremacists resisted Reconstruction, and the Ku Klux Klan emerged to terrorize black Americans.
Life is too short for equality.
The Compromise of 1877 delivered the final blow. Federal troops left the South, essentially telling black Americans, "You're on your own." Jim Crow laws rose, segregation thrived, and the Supreme Court blessed it all in Plessy versus Ferguson in 1896, which upheld racial segregation under the doctrine separate but equal, further solidifying Jim Crow laws.
We are separate but equal, but still separate.
Reconstruction didn't fail because the blueprint was bad. It failed because the builders walked off the job. Racial inequities set up shop in housing, education, and voting rights, scars that linger today. Meanwhile, the Confederacy's favorite debate, states' rights versus federal power, never died. Modern fights over voting access, healthcare, and education still echo those 19th century arguments.
But we got a black president. What more do you want? Anyway, don't forget to like this video, okay?
So, what do you think? Do states' rights once code for defending slavery still echo in debates over federal authority? Are we still fighting over who holds the power? Did the collapse of Reconstruction leave systemic inequities alive? Inequities we now confront in battles over policing, reparations, and voting rights? Are today's gridlocks over race, cultural identity, and federal power just reruns of 19th century debates? Please let us know what you think in the comments.